It's noon here in Bethesda, Maryland on Wednesday, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, and, well, my mother's
Yeah, your
birthday.
mom's birthday.
Yes, she would have been 109 today.
Holy cow.
Yes. And this is news that you can use from YAA with your hosts, Zach and Ray. How are you today, Hanson?
I'm doing great, Pops. We have the YAA team coming in today, so super excited for that. We also have a ton of news to cover, and we're going to kick off, Dad, with the news from Ford and GM that has truly shocked the auto industry.
Yeah.
You ready? We had some guesses. We had some guesses from AJ as to what it could be.
Yeah.
Are they merging? No. Are they reducing their prices? No, not yet.
Yeah.
Are they laying off hundreds of staff? Not that we've heard of.
Yeah.
Are they pulling out from China? It's something different, Dad. When you start to think about indicators that car prices or the market is getting soft, what do you think about? I know what I think about. What do you think about?
I think of fleet.
Boom, baby.
Boom, shakalaka.
November fleet sales.
Yes.
Bear with me here.
Yes.
November fleet sales up 55% year over year, up 8.2% month over month. 160,989 units of fleet vehicles were sold last month. Why, Zach? Why do you care about? Ask me, Dad. Why do you care about this? Why do I?
Why is that important to you, son?
And why does it relate to GM and Ford? We're going to get to that in a second.
Okay.
Because, Dad, these
Yes.
fleet customers, look at rental fleets, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
Year over year, rental car companies bought 126.5% more fleet vehicles than they did in the year prior.
Yes. And that's because in the year prior, with limited availability, the manufacturers decided they really didn't want to help their fleet customers. They were more concerned about helping their regular retail customers.
Exactly.
And by helping, I mean making the cars available so that you could pay too much.
And rental car companies were then, and all fleet customers were then going to dealer auctions to buy used cars,
Yes.
jacking up the price of used cars. Okay, so this is a leading indicator that says, oh, if there's more fleet sales, that means used car prices should come down. And obviously, we've been tracking that. Now, let's look at the data broken down by manufacturer, Dad.
Okay.
Among manufacturers, GM had the largest fleet gains over last November, followed by Stellantis and Ford. Meanwhile, Subaru had the largest fleet decline compared to a year ago. I'm going to reread this line, and I want you to start critical thinking with me. Why am I harping on this? Among manufacturers, GM had the largest fleet
gains
over last November, followed by Stellantis and Ford. Why are GM and Ford shocking the auto industry? And there's one more piece here that we'll turn to in a second, Dad. Why? Because they have inventory again.
Yes.
And if they're increasing their year-over-year fleet production capabilities, and we can track their days supply of inventory and it's going up,
yes,
this is an indicator of all indicators that new car prices should, MSRPs may stay high, but should become more negotiable.
Yes.
And I would not be surprised if you see more and more incentives on the horizon. What is your take on all this?
I concur, young man. I think everything you said was pretty darn accurate. There are times when I disagree with you, but this is not one of them.
Thank you, Pops. And this also speaks, let's look at the data here. Let's read this. Interesting changes are seen when comparing the manufacturer's fleet sales by channel through November of 2022 to the same time in 2019, pre-pandemic. Yes. GM has overtaken Ford as the leader in the commercial channel with a 35.3% share.
Wow.
Ford remains on top in government fleet sales with 62.1% share, while Stellantis' share dropped from 22% to only 10%. Toyota overtook Stellantis in sales to rental fleets by increasing its year-to-date fleet share in November to 26.2% from 10.9% in the same time in 2019. It's worth noting that Nissan has revamped its fleet strategy compared to 2019, which was number 2 in rental fleet share. Nissan dropped from 81.7% to 11% and is now below Toyota, Stellantis, GM, and Ford.
May I say something about that?
Go ahead.
I find it sad to a degree that Toyota decided to take a large chunk of their production and direct it towards fleet purchasers as opposed to directing it to their retail customers who have been placing reservations and deposits on incoming allocations and making their customers wait months and months and months for those vehicles when they could actually be satisfying those orders sooner and do away with the fleet sales at the moment.
Literally no one is going to be talking about fleet sales. Like, I don't expect that to get a headline outside of maybe like automotive news and maybe auto remarketing. And even there, they probably won't get headlines. But I think it is one of the leading indicators that we can look at to see how manufacturers are faring production wise.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, that Toyota's probably doing, maybe this is an indication from Toyota that they're fine with having limited inventory and the prices being really high, especially when you think.
I think that states it clearly.
And especially, Dad, when you think about Toyota's distribution model here in the United States, where the distributors have a lot of power,
Yes.
and they also pack on a ton of add-ons, could be part of their whole strategy. And at the same time, Ford and GM, they struggled the most at the beginning of the pandemic. They
Yes.
absolutely did. Well, now they've bounced back, maybe a little bit too good. Their fleet sales are up so significantly at the same time as their retail inventory is also up. It's a recipe for new car incentives, especially with Stellantis, new car
Yes.
incentives to come back.
Absolutely, and I think we'll see that.
And this was interesting. Laura says, so Subaru is still focused on us. Yeah, Subaru is like the shining light here. They haven't, their fleet sales haven't increased, and there's no indication.
They declined dramatically, and that's because Subaru is trying to be committed to their rather loyal customer base. Those who own Subarus are really loyal to Subaru. So that from a corporate perspective, it makes sense to want to keep your primary customers, not necessarily your fleet customers, but your primary retail customers, happiest by trying to have as many vehicles available for them as you can when you have a limited amount of inventory.
Absolutely. All right. I want to turn our attention to the latest Mannheim market data. And then we've got a very early, really, you've got to be kidding me, that I anticipate has something to do with our background. All right, Dad. Wholesale used vehicle prices in November down 14.2% year over year. Now, we harp on Cox from time to time about their terrible headlines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Year over year, prices did not go down 14.2% in November. They actually only went down 0.3% in November, from November to October. Used vehicle prices in November down 14.2% year over year. Just makes it sound like it's worse than it actually is.
Yes.
That being said, used car prices continue to go down.
I think what they're saying, if you parse it, is that for the year, used car wholesale prices.
There should be a comma there.
Down 14.2%.
Should we add the comma?
No. Let's not help them out. No, if they,
you more of an M dash guy?
No, I'm just saying.
What about a semicolon?
Let's see. Okay, there you go.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, let's just say that they, along with automotive news, we talk about the hyperbole that you produce in our clickbaity titles.
Yep.
Well, mainstream media such as Automotive News and Cox Automotive. They make some of the more disingenuous headlines that I've ever seen.
We're all in this together.
We are. Apparently, it is the way of the
media.
world.
It's the way of media.
And the way of media, and we are just a part.
Used retail sales estimates declined in November. So we've been talking about how it's a demand side problem, not a supply side problem right now. Leveraging a same store set of dealerships selected to represent the country from DealerTrack, we initially estimated that used retail sales declined 1% in November from October, and that used retail sales were down 10% year over year. Compared to November 2019, sales were down 22%.
Yes.
Credit transactions heavily influence the same store sales, same store data series, and growth in cash purchase activity is likely causing the estimates to decline more than actual market sales. No matter how you slice it, there's a slowdown on the used car side. At the same time, Dad, new car sales were actually up 10% year over year in November. There was one more selling day than in November of 2021.
And there was a thing called inventory.
Exactly. I want to jump back up here, though, Dad. We can see across all segments of vehicles, year over year, prices are down. Prices are 100% down. There's no denying it. And when you look at this chart right here, this is the Mannheim Used Vehicle Value Index. You can see what normal times look like.
Yes.
Then you can see what pandemic times look like. And now you're seeing what happens after the pandemic, correct?
Yes. We are still in the Abby normal times if we look at it accurately.
Which leads us to, Dad.
Yes. Really? You gotta be kidding me.
All right. We have breaking news this morning. Key creditors
Yes.
at a small mom and pop dealership called Carvana
Yes.
that somehow managed to amass $7 billion in debt.
Because that's the American way.
Key creditors that control up to $4 billion
What do
of
we
that
have in
debt.
debt?
We have no debt. Well,
Stop
we have a
it.
credit card bill, but that's about it.
That's it?
That's it, man.
Oh, come on.
A
You're doing
group-
something wrong.
A group of funds holding around $4 billion of Carvana's unsecured.
Unsecured.
So
Yeah.
Carvana also has a $2.2 billion debt deal with Ally Financial, but that is secured. It's
Yeah.
it's collateralized by
that's overvalued used cars. that
exactly.
they're
They
underwriting. Yes.
have debt to purchase used cars. Okay,
Yes.
got it. But this is $4 billion that's unsecured.
Yes.
This is just to operate the business. Or around 70% of the total outstanding have signed a cooperation agreement. What that means, to cut through all of the noise, what that means is that Carvana is on the brink of bankruptcy, and it seems likely that these key creditors are going to go down the path of bankruptcy protection.
They have agreed to not fight everything, to act as one. And I believe there's less than 10 creditors that are involved in this. There's two major ones, Apollo Management.
And then Pacific, here, I'll give you the name, Pacific Investment Management
Yes.
Corporation.
And they figure that either a debt restructuring, and why anybody would want to give them more money is beyond me, or even to restructure the debt that they have. But they figure that if they can act in consort with each other, that there's a greater likelihood of being able to secure some type of debt restructuring, so that Carvana can remain as an ongoing business. For how much longer, we have no idea. But I would suspect that it's going to be difficult.
Dad, one other thing that I thought was interesting that was pulled up in this article, and I'm sure many of you are already aware of it. The company's bonds have been languishing below 50 cents on the dollar, indicating that investors believe the company is at a high probability of default. We've covered on this show as a prior, really, you've got to be kidding me. Carvana is so cash desperate,
yes,
that they have been selling these vending machines behind us to landlords,
yes,
and then leasing them back on 20, 30-year leases.
Yes, so the poor landlords are going to have these vending machines and no Carvana to be paying on the lease because, well, Carvana probably won't continue to exist, or at least won't exist in a manner that we know it today. And if they go through bankruptcy of some kind, those leases could end up being restructured, or God knows what.
Who knows, man?
But it just seems odd to me.
Huh.
You know me, I'm not particularly well educated.
Yep.
My education comes from just life experiences, but it just seems odd to me that if over the last 9 to 12 months, we could see the issues that Carvana was going to be confronted with, and we have nothing invested in them.
Yeah.
How creditors couldn't see it. How when they purchased Odessa, that they purchased it via credit.
Yeah,
They got $3.3 billion in additional credit so that they could complete the purchase of the Odessa auto auctions and then invest some money in the improvements that that was back in what, June, July? If we could see the issues, why couldn't the people that stroked a $3.3 billion check see it?
And we're going to get into the chat here in a second, but I think it's headwinds, tailwinds, Dad. This business works if there's tailwinds, if used car prices are appreciating. Hear me out.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, this is the perfect moment to look back at the Mannheim Used Vehicle Value Index. This business works. Do my best, weatherman. This business works there.
Yes.
This business doesn't work there.
That's correct.
Okay.
But my point is that in July you could see,
you could start to see
that there were headwinds instead of tailwinds.
But I bet you these talks have been ongoing. I mean, Carvana, we saw them lay off staff earlier this year, more significant layoffs more recently, and you could probably fault them for moving too slowly. But this business was doomed, I think, from much earlier on. Let's go to the chat here, Dan. We've got some interesting comments. Mark says Carvana equals Ponzi scheme. Those who got in early made money, those who got in late losing everything. And I think I would disagree that Carvana is a Ponzi scheme. I think there's a lot of ways that you can dig into this story, especially the fact that it was originally Drive Time and the family associated with it. I don't think it's a Ponzi scheme. I think it's a business that fares really well when market conditions are good and fares really poorly when they're not.
And I think that the owners, the founders, realized what the potential was, and cashed out for $3.6 billion a year ago. 14 months ago.
Unconfirmed, but from our friend Igor, he says Group 1 just bought another batch of cars from Carvana worth over $230 million for less than 80% of what the MMR value was on each car. So this comes to what RWD Please is saying, Carvana inventory dump, here we come. The likelihood that you see retail prices for Carvana cars go down, do you think that's high or low? And then do you think there's going to be a liquidation on the wholesale market where other dealers are going to buy their inventory?
Well, obviously, Group 1 is probably not the only one that's buying inventory at less than 80% of MMR. And dealers today are probably paying between 95% to 100% of what MMR is to be able to buy these cars at the auction. So if Group 1's buying them 15% below what anybody else could buy them for, and they price them like they bought it at MMR, as I've always said, you make your profit when you buy them. They're going to be able to make huge profits on these cars. And by large groups buying them like this, I think that could have an adverse effect on whether or not we will see significant declines in retail asking prices for used cars. Okay, because Group 1 can afford to hold on to those cars to some degree.
Yep.
So that they won't allow all those cars to hit the market all at once, driving prices down.
Yeah,
I think prices will go down, but not as significantly as we might have hoped with a collapse of Carvana.
One thing that certainly has been going down and will continue to go down.
Yes,
trade-in offers. So if you're going to sell your car, I even noticed that the other day. I tried to get an offer. I went on our website. I went to joinwyatt.com/sell, and I was getting offers on a particular vehicle, and I noticed Carvana didn't show up. So I wonder what's going on there.
Could we pull up a current stock market for them? I mean, literally current, what's happening at the moment. Well, it's gone up because they were trading under $4 a share earlier this morning.
Yeah. This will go down. I mean, you've been in this industry for 40 plus years. This will go down as one of the biggest collapses because they moved over 100. They bought over 100,000 cars last quarter. They sold over 100,000 cars last quarter. I mean, this will go down as one of the biggest collapses in the auto industry, won't it?
Yeah, because they grew too quickly. That's what happens when businesses grow too quickly, and they really don't have the infrastructure for that type of growth. And we've seen it in any number of cases, especially in titling and registrations.
Yep.
And we've seen it with the actions brought by states.
Yep.
And other lawsuits against them, class
States
action
attorneys
lawsuits.
generals. Yeah.
So, it was what appeared to be a good idea that kind of just went like a rocket ship.
Yep.
And then sometimes when rocket ships go like this, they come down like that, and that appears to be what's happening to Carvana.
Our in-house resident space scientist.
There you
rocket scientist.
Rockets go up fast, they come down faster.
Kayvon, thanks for the thoughtful contribution. Says, hope I
Kayvon.
can get a Bolt EUV next year with GM's inventory increase. Can't find any in the area. The used ones are $10,000 over MSRP of the new ones. And also, you've got tax incentives, Kayvon.
Yes.
So please.
That'll be starting
Jan 1.
Yeah.
Jan 1, yeah. So you've got new tax incentives next year.
Yes.
YAA Electric, Justin and Justice can definitely help you out as you navigate that process. We've got that. Another component of all this.
Yes.
From one of our community members says, ordered a Ford Super Duty October of 2021. Dealer text last night, it will be in next week. Not even a call after over a year, with interest rates and poor trade-in values not looking good for me. We've talked about it on this show. We've done videos on it on the main channel. People like this gentleman or this woman are walking away from car deals.
They're walking away from ordered vehicles because, well, the economic situations have changed dramatically from, say, October 2021 to December of 2022. 14 months later, interest rates are sky high. Demand for vehicles is decreasing. So, yeah, people are realizing it might not be in their economic best interests to complete that type of transaction. And we're going to see more and more of that, which is another reason why new car inventories will continue to build up.
Here we go. Silly Sylvia says, saw a lot of stock in Palm Springs through a YAA search. I actually drove through Palm Springs maybe a month ago. I was out there. There's a lot of inventory in Palm Springs, California. If you're in California, Southern California especially, go to Palm Springs. You can definitely find deals there.
And also check out the outlet malls.
And Sylvia's reminding everyone, go to joinyaa.com. It's not just the YouTube videos here on the Ray and Zach channel or on the main YAA channel. We can help you when you go to buy a vehicle, when you go to sell a vehicle, insurance, auto, home, and renters. If you're going to get an extended warranty, get a quote from us first, review our contract, all those fun things, the finance, the refinance, and of course the different membership options.
We have membership options.
Yeah, if you want help buying a car, $59.99 one time. We'll help you go through the full car buying process. Or the YAA Plus membership, it's $120 a year. Gets you everything that you get when you go to buy a car, and also the discounts at major repair centers, maintenance centers, and even neighborhood shops as well. Plus, members only discounts on other things, like $120 off on that extended warranty if you were to purchase one. So we've got a lot of great things going on back on the website. Now, Dad.
Yes.
Now, Dad, I want to turn our attention to one last story for today's show.
Yes.
Which is, you mentioned the economy, and we had that gentleman or woman say, hey, I'm walking away from this ordered car deal.
Yes.
This headline, Dad. Economy, interest rates, sour dealer views on market survey finds the economy and interest rates are weighing on dealers' minds and dragging down their expectations for the market 3 months from now, according to a Cox Automotive assessment of fourth quarter dealer sentiment. Pops, we have seen car dealer sentiment, franchise and independent car dealer sentiment drop down significantly.
Yes.
Pretty quickly. And it's a pretty clear example of what's going on in the market.
It's almost as if some of these car dealers woke up from a coma when somebody slapped them real hard against their face and said, oh, we'd like you to confront reality now.
Yep.
Okay. Because this has been happening. There's been driving forces behind this for quite some time. I mean, interest rates started going up much earlier this year. And a lot of these dealers just refused to read the writing on the wall or read the tea leaves. But it was there. It was as plain as day if you looked at data, if you looked at
you watched our videos.
Yeah, if you just listened to us. Okay. And I recently never have received my degree in economics from anywhere.
Yep.
But other than life experiences, and you can look at these things and you can look back over time and realize, hey, the last time interest rates did this, people stopped spending money. Okay. And the Fed's been saying for months and months and months and months and months, we want to slow down an overheated economy that is causing inflation. And they have said, we're going to use interest rates to do that. So it wasn't like people weren't talking about it. It's just that dealers,
Yep. Well, they were making record profits, so it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to get, woken up in your ivory tower when you're getting grapes fed to you from a gold-plated, I don't know where I was going with that, but they got money, man. They had money. Right. And now cash is getting tight. We're seeing, we talked about it on yesterday's show, curtailment payments.
Yes.
Okay. The banks are going to want to start to get some money to get the loan to value ratios back in check for the inventory they have on their lots. And this sentiment analysis is a few months too late. Yeah. Very clear that there's
and they're concerned about the first 3 months of 2023. Let me help them. They should be concerned about the next 6, 9, 12 months. Even the Fed has indicated that, with the amount of job growth that there was, the Fed's thinking that maybe they haven't pushed hard enough, so that they are stating that they will continue to raise interest rates, which are and the interest rates on auto loans, which normally lag behind the interest rates on mortgages, the interest rates on more auto loans have not only caught up with mortgage rate, and they've surpassed them as to the amount of change that we've seen in those rates. And that's only going to continue. And that's only going to take more and more people out of the market. So the market's going to continue to soften. The demand is not going to be there. Yes, there will always be some people who have the money and the wherewithal, regardless of economic conditions, to continue to buy stuff. But the vast majority of people don't find themselves in that position.
And what will inevitably end up happening is that the Fed will then cut interest rates to take us out of a recession to induce spending again in a more controlled way that doesn't, and hopefully, knock on wood, doesn't bring back inflation. And so you can see what's going to happen over the next, 24 months. When the timing happens, what impacts, there's all sorts of outside factors. But that is very clearly what's going to happen. There will be more if you're a consumer and it's a cash buyer.
Yes.
Next year's looking like a great year to buy a car. Our price is going to be low. No, we had a year of incredible inflation.
If you're a payment buyer,
it's going to be tough.
It's only going to get worse.
Yep.
Okay. And the unfortunate reality is that 85 to 86% of customers out there, when it comes to big ticket items like cars, are indeed payment buyers. They finance these purchases. It's 14 to 15% of the buying public that actually has the wherewithal to pay cash for it. And so that it doesn't matter that the interest rates have gone up. It just means, we can still stroke that check.
I want to remind everyone that back on joinyaa.com, we have all of our guides there for free. So for example, our car buying cheat sheet. All right. So when the dealer says, what do you want your monthly payment to be? You respond with this. So you're paying cash. You respond with this. We have so much information. If you just go to the website, joinyaa.com, and then up here under resources, I encourage you to go to the community. I encourage you to go to Deal School, and I encourage you to click on free guides.
Okay.
And from free guides, you can find all of the information. Will car prices drop more in 2023? We think yes. Read that article.
Yeah.
What are the 7 brands that will have the best deals this December? It's right here. If you click on this one especially, Dad, we also link out to, from right here, the best all-around car deals right now. Justin updated this yesterday. The best lease deals right now. The best auto loan rates right now. Mazda is doing a 0% lease deal, 0% APR lease deal. So please use the joinyaa.com website to have more information. We understand these shows can get a bit long, but the information's all there.
And how much of that stuff do you have to pay?
All free.
Excuse me?
All free.
Free?
All free.
What's that old saying? If it is for free,
it
is for thee.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
I want to give a huge shout out, Space Mario. He is on a plane right now.
Yes.
To the Bethesda area. We are having the YAA team in person. Everyone's flying in today, driving in today. Tomorrow we could have a lot of faces on the show. I don't know how we're going to fit them all in one green screen, but we'll try.
We shall try.
So we've got the whole team here. So super excited about that. Have so much to learn from Mario. So much to learn from
I'm just
Space.
Looking forward to actually being able to spend time in person with all these people that I see in Zoom meetings and everything else, but we very rarely have the opportunity to sit down and break bread as a group.
Absolutely.
And so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. About 20 of us here, so it's going to be a nice, fun group, 17, 18. All right, Dad, like we did yesterday.
Yes.
Let's keep the good times rolling. We at YAA is a place for happiness, is a place for positivity, is a place where negativity goes in one ear, goes out the other. We do not sit on negativity. Others can say whatever they'd like to say. And you know what we say back? Positivity.
Yeah.
So why do we do what we do, Dad?
Because we want to help people save money.
We're going to the Success Stories channel on the community forum. We've got 2 new ones that were posted since yesterday's live stream. We've got a 2021 Jaguar F-Type from Martin. Completed the purchase of a new toy over the weekend with help from YAA. Thanks, Space. Thank you, Space. Watching YouTube videos, put down a hefty deposit, APR under 5%. This is awesome. Delighted with the car. So if Zach and I were to come visit, that's California. Well, maybe Space could visit. Maybe space. So we got an awesome success story there.
Yes.
And then, Dad, we had this Genesis GV70 success story from Anne. Just bought a 2023 Genesis GV70. It was pretty damn easy compared to my previous car buying experiences. Thank you, YA, for all the insights and helpful info. Love to read that. Got the whole story here, the accepted offer, the ultimate price. Yeah, congratulations. So 2 new success stories posted on the community forum since yesterday's show, and an awesome example of the positivity of the YAA community.
Yes, I'm being good. I'm biting my tongue.
We love helping folks. That is why we do what we do.
You know, and people can take whatever shots they want to take at us because they don't want to believe that we legitimately
help people
and care about helping people.
Yep.
Whatever. Haters hate. Everybody else out there, hey, jump on board. We're here to help. Those that don't want to be helped, stay the hell away. How about that?
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Space and the rest of the YA team that are on flights today, please get here safely and soundly. We look forward to having some dinner with you tonight. Thank you, everyone, for being here, Pops. We will be back tomorrow.
Noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, with more news.
We might start like 5 minutes late.
With more news that you can use from YAA and hopefully a ton of new faces for you to meet in person. We might have to hold the mic.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure something out so that you can actually meet the people behind the scenes that make all this work.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yep. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day.